the fact that this past Monday night, The Rock made a surprise return to WWE. He was at the Monday Night Raw in San Diego. I say surprise, but if you saw the photos, I guess maybe of Rock in Pasadena at the Rose Bowl and Nick Khan hanging right in the background, maybe you could put two and two together. But he's back in the WWE. Cut a great promo on Jinder Mahal, had a little physicality, and then of course at the end, cut a little promo saying he's going to go out to dinner. Should he sit in a booth? Should he sit at the bar? Or should he sit at the head of the table? And boy, they got people talking about, is that the WrestleMania main event? Or will he be in Australia at the Elimination Chamber? I think it's pretty clear to see WWE is prioritizing international PLEs. I think there's been rumor and innuendo. They're going to do one in France. They're going to do one in Germany. And we know they're doing one in Australia. Right. And they're probably going to be running stadiums, and all of those stands to reason to me that maybe we see something with The Rock in Australia. What say you? Were you surprised to see Rock back? And would you be surprised to see him in Australia?
I wouldn't be surprised wholeheartedly, but to some degree, yes, which is a kind of a screwy answer sitting on the fence. I think you got to get him back in he's got to earn, if he's going to wrestle Roman Reigns, is Rock going to be the fan favorite? Is he going to be, he needs to do something, I think, other than just show up, even though he's got the star power to show up and contribute. I was a little surprised, quite frankly, that he's back in the hunt for a spot. So we'll see how it works out. But I'm a fan. I signed The Rock. I was been involved in his career since day one. He was nice enough to write a forward to our book that's on the cover of our new book that comes out in April. So, but you can pre-order the book now, as a matter of fact, without being too overly hype machine. But he's hey, anytime you get The Rock, you get some time from the Rock. That's a win. That's a win. Now, how they get to the end result, the end result has got to be WrestleMania. Obviously, that's not it'd take a strategist to figure that one out. But see how it works out. But getting a Rock on TV and getting him re-engaged in a storyline, and it seems like the Roman Reigns thing is a perfect place for him. It might not do the Cody Rhodes fans a lot of favors, because I still think some people are still a little miffed that Roman beat Cody in the last WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how there's got to be another piece to the journey. There's got to be another stop off, and winning the Elimination Chamber is one way of doing that. But can you get another match? That means the two matches out of The Rock, and is that going to happen? So time will tell, obviously. But like I said, getting him to commit to certain times and is a win. It's a win without question.
I'm excited to see what they do with The Rock and just everything that's happening over in WWE. But since we've covered everybody else and their brother during this open, before we talk about The Undertaker today, we should mention that as folks are listening to this, Wrestle Kingdom is ending. Wrestle Kingdom 2024 is happening, as you and I are speaking, tonight. But by the time folks are listening to this, it'll be wrapping up, and we'll have a handle on the who, what, where, and why of the biggest New Japan show of the year. Of course, at the end of the year, it was announced that Tanahashi is going to be leading the charge from an office capacity. He'll be challenging Zack Sabre Jr. on this card for the New Japan World Television Championship. Lots of great AEW stars on the show as well. Will Ospreay will be in a three-way with David Finlay and Jon Moxley. I think most of our listeners are very familiar with Will Ospreay and Jon Moxley, but I'm excited for them to see David Finlay, who I know you hold in high regard. And how about the co-main event? What I'm maybe most interested in, Okada and Bryan Danielson. In any other world, this is a dream match, but that dream is coming true. Bryan Danielson has been a real road warrior, suffering injury after injury, but somehow putting on incredible matches over the last year. He's not quite at 100%, but I know we're going to get him at his best against Okada. What do you expect in that match, Jim?
Oh, just amazing results. Both those guys are ultimate pros. Both have a lot of pride, character, integrity, in-ring integrity, which is important. I expect them to have a hell of a match and tell an amazing story. Nobody's told better stories in the ring in the last several weeks than Bryan Danielson.
Right.
He's just been amazing, and he connects all the dots. He wrestles to a talent's strength, and that's pretty important. And so I'm a big fan of his work. Bryan, he's a leader. I think he'll be a part of AEW long after his last in-ring appearance is confirmed. So, but I think it'll be a masterpiece. The expectations are high on Meltzer's scale of star ratings. You got to believe that they're going to want to have a classic. And the expectations of this classic are real. So can these guys live up to the hype? We'll find out, and we'll see. But that's certainly a match as a broadcaster. You love to call those matches that connect the dots, that tell a story, and then you got to wonder what's going to happen. Going forward, we know where Bryan Danielson's going to end up. He's going to end up back with AEW. But where does Okada end up? Is Okada going to be on the favorable side of the new administration, or not? And only time will tell on that one. But I'm a big fan of both guys. They're both quality guys, and I would love to see them both in the AEW. One of them, we got our wish comes true with Bryan, but the Okada, maybe Okada needs to change the scenery. Just thinking out loud here, but he's gifted, and I've called some of his matches back in the day, and when I was doing work for AEW, or excuse me, for New Japan with Access TV back in the old days, and I became a huge fan of Okada's work. He's silky smooth. He's sometimes I said this one time about Flair and Steamboat. They're flawless, and sometimes their matches were too perfect. They didn't make any mistakes. They had no fumbles. They handled every kickoff and every pass cleanly, and that's Okada. He's amazing talent, and so. But where he goes after Wrestle Kingdom is anybody's guess. But I can see him relocating. And, we'd love to have him in AEW. Who wouldn't? He's one of the best workers in the entire world and has been for quite some time. But maybe it's time for a new address. And we'll see. We'll see how that works out. But in any event, I'm going to make a point to watch this Okada Bryan Danielson match without question. I just think it's going to be a classic.